just texted him. He sent me his x-ray
Oh, good.
with all the cracks and stuff. Looks pretty beat up.
He must have went down hard.
Yeah, and just must have hit right on that bone.
I think he freeze-dried, no warning.
Yeah.
It's okay to do that if you're drunk, when you're sober.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it would be like, it's enormous.
Staying safe.
Right,
Yeah. No,
but I
sorry.
didn't wanna like interject.
Yeah, no, I didn't hear anything.
Arch Council,
So Scott,
thank
let's move
you.
down a hair.
This, or just a hair, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe make a little run in the middle. Mike, did you get your package?
What's that?
Did you get your package?
What package?
I'll smack this thing like 5 times.
I emailed or texted you, you had a package on your phone.
Oh, I'm sorry, I never check my phone, as Ben knows very well. I hope Jess got it.
You guys check your phones, but it's at 2 a.m.
Yeah,
I've never gotten an email from you or Jess that wasn't after midnight.
that's kind of the way it goes.
Yeah, right?
I plugged my phone in downstairs, I have a bios over here. Because Karen gets, if I get one after midnight, I says, there's Jess.
That's pretty well true.
Hey, it's 7:02, Ben. Clock's slow.
Right behind Scott.
Yeah, I think she must have got it.
How are you, Tom? Good, Mayor, how are you? Good. I'm really good, we got your replacement lined up for Monday night, you could probably done with you by Tuesday.
Tom's like, can you make it Sunday? Yeah, those threats ain't gonna work, right, Tom?
Yeah, which, he's the first guy we're actually gonna, 7 o'clock, let's go. Please stand for pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome. Welcome. All right, welcome. Got any additions or deletions to the agenda? So I think we had it revised twice today, I think, so I think everybody's good.
Yes, I think so.
Okay. Approval of minutes from February 11th, is there a motion to approve?
Second.
Take the roll, please.
Blue,
Yes.
Weish,
Yes.
Morrow,
Yes.
Klein,
Yeah.
Ornung,
Yes.
Arganti.
Yes.
Payment of bills, the amount of $287,000, $287,702.20. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Any discussion? Take the roll, please.
Weish,
Yes.
Morrow, Klein,
Yes.
Ornung,
Yes.
Arganti,
Yes.
Blue.
Yes.
Financial report, Nick.
How's everybody doing? So go over finances for last month, year to date. So on the first page, which I think most of you had, at least I had emailed the finance packet, you'd see the income tax, water and sewer were up roughly about 3% compared to last year. So it's about $26,548. Our income tax is about on par with last year. It's fractionally less, only by less than a couple $1,000s compared to the year before. Total revenue total receipts are up by roughly about 300,000 compared to last year, and expenses are down compared to last year. Some of that is just because we had some project money we had already significantly spent at this point last year, which we have not yet this year. So we are sitting pretty well for the beginning of the year. We're at a positive balance of $263,610 through February, which is much better than the year before, where we were still actually in the red, $176,000 because of our major loan payments. So income tax specifically, like I said, we were at $552,852.84. A year ago, we were at $554,147. So we're down 0.23%. It's less than $1,300. Already, we have put away $110,570 into our infrastructure fund for this year. Payroll is down compared to last year, not because it truly is, but just because we've only had 4 pay periods, where last year at this point we had 5. So we would probably be about par with that, a little bit higher because of raises. And then lastly, our overall fund balances right now are $8,393,415. We started the year with $8,129,805. So it's a pretty good start to the year so far. I'm expecting things to hopefully income tax wise come in pretty good. Last year, if you remember, they extended the due dates till July 15th. So it's really hard. It's going to look really amazing, is my point, compared to last year for this first probably 4 or 5 months, because we didn't have a lot coming in because of the shutdown, income taxes getting pushed. So I don't want to get too cocky here when we get into May, because it's gonna resoundingly look much better, and maybe it will be truly. But the big thing to watch is the actual withholdings. See how that's going compared to 2019, and so hopefully it'll be another good year.
So the village now has a net worth of $1 million. Is that right?
Technically, if you
Got $8 million in,
technically if
and
you,
we got $7 million in debt, so.
but all jokes aside, that's probably I'd have to look back when that even
yeah,
was the case.
I think it's a viable number.
Yeah,
And
I
it's-
mean, all right, it's been a long time.
Any questions for Nick? Thanks.
Sure.
Ambulance reports in your packet. It always amazes me how the average response time stays within seconds. You'd think that sometime they'd get have to go further out, But anyhow, I've had, every time I've had a complaint about a billing ring, they've taken care of it immediately, so I appreciate their response. And I've really had no service complaints whatsoever. And I don't know if any of you have, but I haven't. Fire department reports in your packet is it in a packet?
Yes, it was part of one of the revisions.
Oh, I didn't see it, so someone else has to comment. Can you
Didn't see it
comment?
either. Was it
didn't-
in that latest you sent? The third change? The fire department report?
Yeah, it was the one from this morning.
Here now.
Yeah, it was in both of them. It was in both of them from this morning and this afternoon.
I went through my packet, I didn't have it, so I'm not sure where it is now, I'm not gonna,
Hey, Ben, one
Yeah.
thing I'd like to ask on the ambulance report is if Joe knows, was the overdose in town or no? Okay. Thank you.
okay, econ report, Leslie?
Middlefield means business is live. I think Kim's going to talk more about that in her report. I've been working with local partners, trying to collaborate on different ideas. The EDC is back to meeting. Also, we did receive our grant for EV charging stations, so that's $15,000. And then I'm also asking another funder to see if we can fund the additional $7,500 that we had left on that. So we may potentially get the EV charging station completely covered. So we'll see. But right now, we do have $15,000 of that project funded.
We're still gonna put it at Mineral Lake?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's technically, it was worded as the Marquee Field parking lot. But yeah, it's right there.
so be by pavilion parking, or,
No, by the lodge. The
Where they
little,
park for the baseball
by the
game.
Boy Scout Lodge. Off of Sperry.
oh. So how are we gonna mark that so it stays open?
It'll be marked, there's paint that's part of the project. That'll mark it and that'll show, that's for that vehicle parking.
We're gonna paint off the area and make sure it stays.
Oh, will there also be a sign there too?
Yes.
Okay, because.
And
in the
it'll be
winter, I mean, it's
registered.
Probably gonna be covered.
Yeah, and it'll be registered in the apps,
Okay.
for the EV charging.
When do you see this happening? When?
This year sometime, hopefully.
What about the logistics of it, as far as charging and people paying, I mean, is that,
Sure, so that will come as, now that we've got it, now we can start bringing it to the committee and start thinking about how do we want to have people pay and what type of payment do we want to collect. So that'll be coming in the next
most of
couple
them I've
months.
seen have an app on your phone that you,
Yeah, you can pay through it, but you can set your rates.
so does it have like a 110 plug as well? I'm thinking about my golf cart.
No, you cannot charge I asked that question. You cannot charge your golf cart on this. I asked that.
So this will only be for electric vehicles?
This is, yes. Or Teslas, if they have the adapter.
Good. Any questions for Leslie?
Yeah, I just had one thought when we were talking about, I remember when my kids used to play Little League and they played up at that field, there was never enough parking. So that would be my only concern with that spot is you got a baseball game and there's cars double parked and then those two spots are open and nobody's using it. So I don't know if there's other, I'm just pointing it out.
So that site was actually vetted,
Okay,
yeah, for like the distance walking to be able to get to somewhere.
yeah, get a coffee, get something. to
Yeah,
eat.
so that site was actually vetted. Maybe we could put up some more signage to talk about the shared parking that's over by the Arby's lot. Maybe to let people know, like maybe a sign or something that says additional parking
That'd be a good idea,
down there. Maybe it's just something to help with the flow.
yeah.
Now Leslie, the 15,000 for that is from the settlement with Volkswagen, right?
It is part of the Volkswagen settlement, yes.
Nick just questioned why that parking lot isn't paved behind Arby's. Right,
Oh.
but they own that.
Correct.
All right, and they let us use it.
And how do we let them have a parking lot unpaved? Just because we asked them to put in for us?
I don't know.
I understand, but I'm saying if we're going to ask people to use it as parking for our events, I think we should look at improving the lot.
Okay.
Not sure how you
A
do
lot
that.
of our parking lots are gravel lots.
At
So,
Eagle Park,
yeah.
it's gravel.
Almeda.
Isn't
The overflow at Springdale.
isn't the Yoder Brothers fields, their fields up there, aren't they gravel too?
Well, that extra part we just put in,
Okay. Is that paved or? No, it's aggregate?
Grind.
Okay,
Grind.
all right.
So when I look at the park at Eagle Park, the auxiliary parking, the gravel there, and the gravel there is two different brands of parking. I mean, we ought to make at least, if we're going to leave it gravel, make it the gravel like that, not like that. It's
Okay.
more of a,
I can have John talk to them about maybe adding some more material to the lot.
anyway, if we're going to ask people to use it for our events, maybe we should partner with them and put some gravel in it.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
What projects do we have coming up, Joe, that are near there this year?
Johnson.
Yeah, we'll have the
Johnson.
Johnson Road program will be going on. But the material that you want to put on there is not grinding straight from the road. You want to have it double ground, so there's no chunks. And then you lay it in there real nice and have somebody roll it. It would be just like pavement.
How long does that last?
A long time,
Does it?
yeah. I mean, you figure the parking lot we put in on the other side of the splash park has been there since the beginning.
Yeah.
You know, we've never added material to that or anything.
All right. Okay, zoning inspector report. Is John on?
No,
Not. So Scott, you want to give your little P and Z update now during this report so we can,
Sure.
so that's kind of what his report would consist of.
Yeah, the main thing we talked about again was Briar Hill. You know, and some of that's on the agenda tonight with the different zoning and whatnot. That project is moving forward. There was a lot split that we're doing in reconfiguration over in Edgewood, Cloverdale area, which just was enhancing the two lots so that they're both buildable. Trying to remember what was on the agenda now. I think those are really the two main things.
Outside storage for Ace was
Oh,
on it.
outside storage for Ace Hardware, which they've always done, so it was just another 2-year permit type thing, which that was a no-brainer, because they do a nice job, they keep it clean there.
Yeah, he mentioned that.
Mention that one. But, you know, and then Neat Streets, I just saw in the bills that, you know, somebody used one of those rebates, and I'm sure John, with the spring coming, he'll be starting his tours of the village again and whatnot, so that's a continuous improvement of the village that we try to do every year, and John does a good job of it.
So Joe, I went by the ODOT garage the other day, and it's coming along. Are they still targeting fall for occupancy? Won't be earlier than that?
No, I heard fall. Was the last time I spoke to them.
I know there's talk of expanding Woodsong for another phase for 20 more lots, which is good. Alron, you told me, has got one house
The house
dug
is
and one
structurally up and one just got dug.
Right.
Yeah.
So the activity continues there, so.
Yeah.
What's are they expanding out for Woodsong?
Carl can tell you.
Yeah, what they're gonna do is extend Timber Ridge, so it loops around back of Royal Oak, and then it's gonna come out on Woodsong. And, Joe Sweet has indicated there's gonna be 20 homes. That has been on the actual plans that I got when I built my house in 2004. You know, it showed it like in dotted lines that was for expansion. So it's, you know, it's been part of the development, you know, from day one. Yeah, as Joe said, there's one house, it's all framed, and there's another one going up. And there's one lot on Woodsong, Caddy Corner behind me, the temporary electric panel's up already, and it's been up, and they've got it all staked out. They staked it out yesterday, so that's gonna start that one too. So Woodsong itself, the street's gonna be pretty well filled. Same with my street, Sawgrass, it's pretty well filled up now too.
I think he said he was down to 6 lots, 5 or 6 lots. When he gets to that low, he likes to get another phase in, so he's ready to go, so.
So everybody up there is expected this, you know, everybody that I've talked to has expected it last year already, because a lot of people have asked me, you know, when's he gonna do that next phase?
I have a question about where they're doing the ODOT building. When they're done, do they clean the road right there?
On daily?
Well, no, I know it's not daily because it's been really bad, but I was just
No,
wondering,
when they're
like,
done, they'll hose it all off. and-
okay.
We're hoping they pave it. But,
Yeah.
For beating it up.
yeah.
Okay, streets, Joe.
So while we're on the ODOT, talking about ODOT, they did expand their water line so far. So they expanded the water line to the end of their property and making it ready to get in there. They put another fire hydrant up. The gas company is going to be in there within the next couple of weeks to extend their gas line out. And then they're going to start extending the sewer line from where it is on our property to get back over to their property. So they're moving along pretty quick. It's the only problems we've had over there is with the amount of trucks, and they were trying to unload material on the roadway. So I told them that there's just no way they can do that, you know, with the amount of semi-trucks and things that come down that road. So, but they've been doing real good. They call us if there's an issue. We are able to talk to their superintendent if there's an issue, and they're pretty easy to get along with. As far as the maintenance side goes, we've been picking up a lot of trees on the bike path, a lot of limbs, a lot of stuff falling down all over town. We're picking up a lot of garbage around the bypass, getting the mowers ready, a lot of street sweeping. If anybody walks to the south end on the bike path, you'll see just after you get past our big piles of gravel, there are these piles of fine dirt. That's all dirt and silt that we've picked up off the road. And there's probably 15 piles this high. And that's just from this season.
Where is that?
On the bike path on the south end.
Yeah, why don't we do something? There's no use for that stuff?
No, well, usually what Mike Saltish usually takes it at the end of the year. He usually comes down and loads it up and gets rid of it for us. I think he dumps it at the farm for Phil. But, yeah, we just load it up until we can get it out.
So you don't think there's any use for anybody else?
No, I mean, everybody knows we get it, you know, we always
Paul
offer.
Tadero, he says, why don't you sell me that stuff? He said, it looks like hell sitting over there.
Who said that?
Louis.
You can have it. I'll dump it at his place rather than dump it on the tracks.
I mean, he's trying to, I don't know what he's doing with that parking out there. I don't know if it's a good fill or not. It's like,
Yeah, I mean, well, I'll have to ask him,
yeah.
for sure. Cliff's been fixing a lot of equipment at the wastewater treatment plant with Mike. We had some float issues downtown at the downtown pump station, and, just doing our daily duties, trying to keep everything up.
I called Joe the other day. I saw Lexi sweeping East High Street. And she was quite a ways ahead of me. I didn't realize she was sweeping. And I saw this, looked like, I thought maybe ODOT laid tar down in that buggy crack, that groove that's, here, when she sweeps, she brings it out from the curb and cornrows it. And has to come back and actually, because the curvature of the road, you can't actually pick it up out of the,
Yeah, because of the curvature in the road, it's like 2 inches lower than our brush.
yeah.
So she has to bring it out once, and then come back again and bring it out again to be able to suck it up. Yeah.
Tried to stop beside her and say, you're not picking anything up. Like, good thing I did.
Hey, Joe, can I ask you one other question that we talked about in our budget meeting stuff? Did they give you a quote on what they thought it would cost for those lamppost type things? Did you?
So the company is really hard to deal with.
Oh.
They're out of Minnesota or something. So when I called, you get a customer service, it sound like a high school kid, and you give them all your part numbers for everything you want. And then they have a salesman call you back. So I've been on the phone with this salesman 2 times after trying to get this quote, and he's like, well, what is this? I'm like, okay, let me go back to the catalog, I open it back up, and I give him the part number again. So I should have it this week. But I counted them this week, there's 23 lights, and the way it looks, price-wise, they should be about $1,200 a piece with the globe, the post, because everything's sold separately.
So that's actually better than what we thought it was
It is,
gonna
but and then I'll have to get a quote for somebody to install them.
be. All right, that's not, okay. That's
Yeah.
cool. All right, that's good. Yeah, because we budgeted for it, so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm excited. I
Yeah.
moved on it as soon as we got out of that meeting.
yeah, I mean, it'll be nice, yeah. Okay, thanks.
So Joe's guys dug the holes for the footer for the new sign, and they poured the foundation on, I think, Thursday.
Yep.
The angle iron was dropped off today from the sign supplier. The mason, if it's dry next week, he'll come out, and the electrician's lined up for next week as well. So maybe by the end of next week, we'll hopefully have a sign up there that's going to be operational, so. His last name, on Southside Salvage, oh, you don't know him, never mind. I thought he worked at Craft, he works at Chemtech, never mind. Okay, police report,
So for the month of February, we had 41 traffic citations, no parking sites, 1 charge, 104 written warnings, 13 total crashes, no OBIs, 428 calls of service. Calls of service are going up a little bit. You can see we're increased from last year at this time. 13 lockouts, 22 alarm drops, 1 theft, no domestic, 8 assist outside agencies, and 3 warrant arrests. Patrick Cooney, our part-timer, is coming along well. He's doing as well as we can expect. I think he'll be a great addition. We're still looking for another part-timer, but have had no luck yet at this time. Really not much else going on. Everything's been pretty even keel.
police work, that's a good thing to hear.
Even keel, yep. We do a lot of even keel here.
Should make Ben the part-timer. It'd be great to see him behind the wheel, pulling people over. It'd be,
Hey, can I ask,
Temper's a little short.
just want to ask you a quick question. I had a resident ask me the other day the difference between like a Middlefield Village police officer and one of the Geauga park rangers. Like, can a park ranger pull you over for speeding?
So a park
and-
ranger can pull you over for speeding, but only on a roadway that is around his park jurisdiction.
Okay, so like out on 87, he can't pull someone over.
No, not unless he was within a certain distance of his last park.
But they all carry weapons and they all have been to academies of some
Yes.
type, right?
Mhm.
That's what I thought. So
Yeah, they're all actual policemen. They've been to,
That's what I told him, but I wanted to confirm.
yeah, they've been to the same academy that we go to.
Yeah, thank you.
Didn't we hire Jessica from the parks?
Yes.
Yep.
I think she came directly.
We've had at least 3 officers from here go to the park district.
Thanks, Joe.
Yep.
Okay, Parks, Rec, Leslie?
Our winter sports have ended, so Jimmy will be doing the wrap-up meetings with all the coaches and everything to figure out what worked this year, what they could improve on for next year. The spring sports are currently under registrations, are ongoing right now, and we will be working to get Eagle Park open.
Did those sales come in, Joe?
No. No.
Another fiasco, huh?
That will be, I don't know when that'll be, but it'll be.
They're on back order.
Are they ordered?
No, I haven't ordered them yet. Not yet.
Are we gonna open the park this summer?
Yes.
Everybody says we are.
I know we had talked about it, but we weren't sure.
Okay, I should have mentioned this during Joe's report. You have a letter in your packet, hopefully you all saw it, on Officer Hurlis.
Yeah.
And to me, that, not only the act was nice, it was the fact he thought compassionately outside the box.
I tell you, and the person that called in to let me know that it happened was so thankful that I don't know. In today's day and age, you just don't see that kind of stuff. So I was very happy. I was happy for him. I was happy the way he made us and our department, and our village look, and I let him know for sure.
Yeah, it was a nice letter, and I think, he's to be congratulated for,
It was impressive.
yeah. Creativity of it was as impressive as the act, so good for him. The other thing is, some of you heard, I got an update on Rick. Scott, you want to?
Oh, yeah, so tomorrow Rick actually gets Rick Sire gets his hip replacement. So, it's been it's probably been a month and a half since he fell. It's been a while. And, he's healthy, he's young, so to speak, 74, in good shape. So, they feel there's going to be plenty of success, but that's tomorrow. He's home, though, but then he'll be back in the hospital, of course.
So if it snows, Scott, make sure you get your shovel out.
Well, I don't know if everybody knows, but Ben and I have shoveled Rick's driveway like 4 or 5 times after he got hurt, not
Most
to,
people do know.
Yeah.
is that right? Because Ben's told them all, or?
And now everyone knows.
I've been stopped several times. Said, hey, why is the mayor out there shoveling that driveway? Why is Scott Klein out there shoveling that driveway? So, a lot of people didn't know that Rick lived there.
Yeah.
They do now, though.
So Mark, or Scott left his mark, like a dog pees in a corner. So we're sitting there, on Rick's trash can is our table in his garage. Scott leaves cigarette butts and a beer bottle.
Right. Like, I was
Aren't you gonna
here.
throw that away? He says, no, leave my mark. It's like, okay.
You're letting people know we weren't really shoveling now. Shh.
That's the only I have for public. Anyone else have anything for the public participation?
Vape, e-cigarettes?
That's coming up.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been questioned by a couple people about the Easter egg hunt this year. And Jimmy was going to talk to some high school kids, see if there's something, but I really think it's a little late in the game to try to plan it for this year. So I put a call into Jim Dvorak. I heard the Rotary was thinking about doing it. I called him before the meeting. He just called me back just now, and I didn't take the call. So I'll touch base if there's something that happens from that, but we probably won't be the ones. I asked the chamber if they were willing to do it. They don't have time to do it. So unless something happens at Rotary, there probably won't be one, so. Unless Jim comes back and says, I got 50 kids that really want to do this for community service, we may still pull it off, so. Okay. We got Matthew Peterson, Prevention Specialist, Lake Jaw Recovery Centers, to talk about some legislation we have is our first reading tonight on the first piece of legislation. We can listen to him first, and then we'll act on the legislation. Matthew, you're on.
Great. Thank you. guys for having me. For those who haven't met me yet, my name is Matt Peterson. You said I work for Lake Geauga Recovery Centers there, and I am a prevention specialist. So my job has me working with kids, educating them about the harms of drugs and alcohol, as well as just general healthy decision making. A lot of things we're doing now is trying to enforce skill building rather than just telling them to say no. We're trying to enforce, positive behaviors and giving them more alternative activities to do. And then with adults, we work with them in the capacity of just making sure that they understand responsible decision making. I do drug-free workplace trainings. My ears kind of peaked up when I saw the Middlefield Means Business thing. That might be another area we can collaborate on later and kind of partner up there. Drug-free workplace is just a program that helps small businesses get a benefit on their workman's comp premiums. The other thing that brings me here tonight is tobacco prevention. We have this grant through the Ohio Department of Health. Maybe a year ago, everybody had maybe no awareness of the Ohio Department of Health. After COVID and everything, I think we've all, heard from them throughout the year. We kind of have an awareness of them. And to them, and for them and for us, tobacco and COVID are very much a serious problem. Tobacco users are more likely to suffer from severe consequences of COVID, and that provides, that creates a greater strain on our health system. The area that I'm focusing on and the resolution I've asked you guys to pass is on youth initiation and just talking about the harms of vaping as it presents to our youth right now. Our young people are seeing this constantly. Due to COVID, the numbers have kind of been down through the years. In the reports that I sent you guys, it'll show that, youth use numbers throughout the country have dropped over the last year, and that's strictly because kids weren't in school, so we couldn't survey them as much, and they probably didn't have as much access to it as they would if they were around other kids. That's the easiest way I hear from the teenagers I work with that they get it. They usually talk about they'll show up to school and that somebody will send a Snapchat out or some kind of social media post and say, hey, I got this thing free, first person who finds me. And so they're actively trading these things and just handing them out. Now, granted, that information is before we went tobacco 21. The state went tobacco 21, and then just a few months later, President Trump, he signed a bill into action making the nation tobacco 21 as well. So, that changes a little bit as we go along. Other things that we've done to kind of give you a background is I work with a group of young people that they very much are against the vaping problem here, and they go around to different stores in Geauga County and they collect environmental data. So they're looking at the store's marketing. Where are the tobacco ads placed? Are they 3 feet from the ground? Do they have price discounts on menthol or non-menthol cigarettes? Do they have self-service displays? They're looking at all that kind of data, and they're trying to build a picture of just how the tobacco industry as a whole is marketing to whether the young people or adults on the whole. We also have established a rewards reminders program for retailers, and so because I'm not a law enforcement agency and I have no ability to do that, I work with teenagers who are 18 and up, between 18 and 21 now, to do tobacco compliance checks. And so then we go in and the kids, the young adults, will attempt to purchase, and if the store doesn't sell, That's great. That's exactly what we want them to do. We send them a letter saying, hey, congratulations on this day. You know, you guys, you passed, and, you know, congratulations, thank you very much. But if they do sell, we just simply send them a different letter that says, hey, on this day at this time, somebody matching this description did sell, and we just want to remind you that, you know, according to ORC and the nationwide, you know, standard, it's tobacco 21, and just please do a better job in the future. You know, like I said, we don't have that ability to cite them, and we make sure that they're aware of that. You know, we're not trying to get anybody in trouble. We're just trying to build a healthy standard and a healthy community there. Whew, I need to take a breath. But yeah, and that's just kind of the gist of what we're going for and why I'm asking you guys to pass this resolution. And looking through your guys' history and everything, I saw that, you know, you had the Middlefield Means Health Day. I think that's an awesome thing as far as health goes and health promotion. And I think this is just a natural fit for the community as a whole. Any questions?
Yeah, I think one of our councilwomen had a question about what else we could do on the actual 28th. Caitlin, did you want to?
I was just wondering if you guys had like any literature or anything that we could hand out to our local schools, because as much as we would like to believe that they listen to our meetings, they don't.
I do work with Cardinal there a little bit, and Ann Dalby is my connection at the high school. She's a counselor there, and she does help promote vaping prevention there. We get her different packets as they come about, but whatever you need, we can get. As this resolution goes through tonight, I would like to send out a copy of that along with a quit line poster and a My Life, My Quit poster to all the retailers, just to, you know, say, hey, you know, the village passed this ordinance, and it's a commitment to health, and we would just like you to, you know, if you could, post these up in your shop, so that way people know that, you know, if they want to quit, there's resources.
Hey, Matt, are you trying to get other communities to do the same thing? Like Chardon possibly, or Bainbridge, or?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm wondering if you have other villages, other towns where you want the same thing to happen.
I would be, yeah, very open to anybody else that would want to work with me on this. I definitely would like to, the more the better. I have reached out to Chardon, and initially the way the grant was written, it was asking for a full-on policy change, and they've changed that requirement to just down to a resolution now. And so Chardon kind of wasn't sure about a full-on policy, and then they haven't gotten back to me about a resolution yet. South Russell is the other village I contacted, and they're actually looking at taking all of their city buildings, all their village buildings, smoke-free right now.
Thank you.
Andrew, thank you. I think it's a worthy cause, and we'll move forward with legislation. I'm just, you know, Caitlin asked about what we can do with the schools. I know when my kids were in school, and I was in the 90s, whatever program they had, my kids thought smoking was the worst thing in the world. If someone lit up a cigarette in the room they were in, they ran like it was their life depended on it. So somehow, what we've done in recent years has not been as effective as what they did 20 years ago. And I really think...
Well, and before the vaping...
Go ahead.
Before the vaping problem happened, before Juul kind of came around, we were at an all-time low for youth usage rate of tobacco products. We were down under 5% of high school students using tobacco products. And then what Juul did when they came onto the scene for vaping is they marketed it as the safe alternative. And they really did great by utilizing that word vape or vapor when referring to their e-cigarettes, because that makes it seem like it's just water, when in fact, what is exhaled or inhaled is an aerosol, because the only thing that is truly a vapor is evaporated water. If there's any other kind of chemicals in it, whether that be nicotine, which is in 99% of all e-cigarette liquids, or flavorings or any other kind of chemicals, it's considered an aerosol. And a lot of people miss that point, and the e-cigarette industry is capitalized on that, and our young people viewing it as a safe alternative, like, I'm just not smoking, you know, they latched onto it as a rebellious thing to do, and it created a whole new world of problems for us.
Okay. Thanks again.
Thank you.
All right, are we ready to move forward? So a motion to introduce Resolution 21-04, a resolution declaring a public health crisis for the youth use of e-cigarettes and vaping products, declaring the month of May Youth Tobacco Prevention Month, and May 28th to be declared Youth Tobacco Use Prevention Day, and declared emergency. So a motion to introduce, waive the readings, and declared emergency.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Any discussion? Take the roll, please.
Morrow,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Hornung,
Yes.
Arganti,
Yes.
Blue,
Yes.
Weish.
Yes.
Motion to pass?
So moved.
Second.
Take the roll, please.
Klein,
Yes.
Hornung,
Yes.
Arganti,
Yes.
Blue,
Yes.
Weish,
Yes.
Morrow.
Yes.
Okay, thanks again. Ordinance 21-112, an ordinance establishing the 2021 permanent appropriations declared emergency. Nick, you want to comment on that quickly before we ask for a
Actually,
motion?
Leslie, can you have Jess, because she,
Yeah, Jess, can you unmute? Thanks.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, this is the permanent appropriations for the current year that we pass every March. There's a couple differences. It's very similar to last year, but we do have the coronavirus fund on there. We received about $160,000 last year for that, and there was $65,706.18 remaining that wasn't, it was encumbered, but it wasn't spent yet, projects that weren't finished and that kind of thing. So there's that remaining for 2021, which we have been given until December 31st to spend. And then the other small difference is with the changes in the Parks and Rec Fund, it looks like we're going to be around $55,000 for this year for the transfer instead of the usual 80. So those are really the main changes from last year to this year.
So when does it need to be filed?
we need to, well, Jess, it has to be what? What's the date?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear the.
What's the date this really needs to be sent in? I mean, we always have to pass it now and we scan it over immediately, but what is the date?
Well, they would like you to have it done by the end of March because the temporary appropriations that we passed last year gets you through the first quarter.
Okay, thanks, Jess.
There's not a specific date, but.
There's a motion to introduce, waive the readings, declare an emergency.
So moved.
Go ahead.
Second.
Take the roll, please.
Hornung,
Yes.
Arganti,
Yes.
Blue,
Yes.
Weish,
Yes.
Morrow,
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
Motion to pass.
So moved.
Second.
Take the roll, please.
Arganti,
Yes.
Blue,
Yes.
Weish,
Yes.
Morrow, Klein,
Yes.
Hornung.
Yes.
Ordinance 21-113, an ordinance rezoning approximately 4.19 acres of land from GC commercial, general commercial to RPUD residential, planned unit development zoning, and declare an emergency. Tom, you want to give us some background on that before we make a motion?
Yeah, this is the land that is going to be developed by Briar Hill, just to the north of Village Hall. There are 4 parcels currently. They're going to be consolidated, and we made the determination that the RPUD zoning was probably the best way to go with those parcels, although the ordinance that follows amends the RPUD zoning to take into, or to put in a special use permit for senior housing in the RPUD context. RPUD has a lot of requirements that council can waive or would be entitled not to waive if down the road somebody else were to try to develop this in a way that council or planning commission did not deem appropriate. But under the circumstances, gives the village quite a bit of control over the future development of the parcels as all of this moves forward. So the initial thing is to rezone the parcels to the RPUD, and then we're going to the next ordinance is to rezone, or not, is to amend the RPUD zoning to create some specific provisions for senior housing that fit the proposal that they have within this zoning area.
It's a pretty attractive improvement, if any of you have seen it. We've got a sketch of it with the layout of the buildings and it's,
I was going to say, John Bazanski actually left a picture of what the development's going to look like, and then what each apartment or, senior level housing will look like. So I'm going to pass them around in case you guys just want to take a look at them.
so we've had a couple of P&Z meetings on this subject, one as late as last Tuesday. Tom and I just looked at it. Next council meeting is 28 days. And I know we have a public hearing scheduled for the next council meeting on this, and I think we have to have a 30-day. Is that not correct?
We have had it out on our posting sites since Tuesday. And then Tom sent me an email that said I just have to notify the residents with 20 days.
Okay,
Within
so,
the 200-foot radius.
so we're good with the public hearing on the next, good.
No, there's 20 days written notice that has to go to the adjacent property owners, but there's 30 days notice that has to go by publication. I sent you an email on that. There are 2 separate notices that have to go out, but the 20 days written notice has to go to the adjacent property owners. The 30 days notice has to be set by council tonight has to set a public hearing. It has to be at least 30 days, which means that May 13 is the first council meeting, unless you have a special meeting for it. We don't have any indication from Andy or from John that he's actually going to be ready to develop before May 13. Right now, he does not have site plan in and ready to approve. He was changing his site plan as late as last Monday to change the buildings around a little bit. So, and we don't have any final site plan drawings. So I think May 13 is going to be approval enough. These are both emergency ordinances, so they'll be approvable then. So I think if we set the public hearing for May 13, we'll be okay.
I say I think John should communicate with them. If we need to do a special Zoom meeting for that, just for that issue, we could do it.
Okay, I have it into the paper though, so I'll try to get it retracted tomorrow.
I'll mention this to me today or the day before. That's why I asked you earlier today if it was 30 days, and it's like,
Right, what do I do, print a retraction, Tom?
Pardon me?
Do I print a retraction on the notification that was published?
I think you just when you publish the new notice, just say that the public hearing will be this date versus that date. I wouldn't retract it. I'd just make the one notice. Just
change the date?
Just change the date.
previously advertised as this.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the one we advertised?
Yeah.
Okay.
But maybe they'll let you retract it if they haven't done the typing on it.
It's in already, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The typing's over. People still type? Yeah.
Yeah, maybe they have.
Okay, is there a motion to introduce ordinance 21-113, introduced as an emergency and put on first reading tonight? Is there a motion to put on first reading
So moved.
as an emergency?
Second.
And waive the readings.
And waive the readings. Take the roll, please.
Blue,
Yes.
Weish,
Yes.
Morrow, Klein,
Yes.
Hornung,
Yes.
Arganti.
Yes.
Ordinance 21-114, an ordinance amending existing section 115309 of the codified ordinances to authorize the planning commission to grant a special use permit authorizing certain senior residential use in the RPUD zoning district and declare an emergency. Tom kind of gave you the detail on this as well in the last comment. So is there a motion to introduce, waive the readings, and declare an emergency?
So moved.
Take the roll, please.
Weish,
Yes.
Morrow,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Hornung,
Yes.
Arganti.
Yes.
Blue.
Yes.
Ordinance 21-115, an ordinance granting approval of the replat of Sublot 1 of Cloverdale Estates subdivision and Sublot 3 of Cloverdale Estates subdivision 2, and declare an emergency. A private residence has a home on the property, owns a lot next door, asks for a reconfiguration of the lots, had it surveyed, so he can build an additional house on the lot next door, and it makes the two lots much more uniform. It's a better looking plat now than it was prior. So P&Z looked at it, was in favor of doing it. So is there a motion to introduce, waive the readings, declare an emergency?
So moved.
Second.
Take the roll, please.
Morrow, Klein,
Yes.
Hornung,
Yes.
Arganti.
Yes.
Blue,
Yes.
Weish.
Yes.
Motion to pass.
So moved.
Take the roll, please.
Klein,
Yep.
Hornung,
Yes.
Arganti.
Yes.
Blue,
Yes.
Weish,
Yes.
Morrow.
Second readings, ordinance 21-108, an ordinance authorizing all actions necessary to accept Northeast Ohio Public Energy Council, NOPEC 2021 Energized Community Grants Funds. Is there a motion to place on second reading?
So moved.
Second.
Decide what to do with those funds?
We thought about the streetlights. So once this is approved, then we can submit the project to them for their approval. Maybe if there's pieces of it, or maybe they would approve the whole unit, would be
We
up to their
discussed using it
discretion.
for the, didn't we, I thought we discussed using it for the poles that Joe just,
That's what I just, yeah, that's what I just said.
Said street lighting.
oh, I thought you meant, we had originally talked about getting LED lights.
Oh,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
this project.
Okay,
They
good.
may not do it for the whole thing, so I have to wait until this is approved and then then send them our proposal.
Okay, because originally I thought we were going to go with LED lights for the street
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, not the street heads, the new poles.
lamp posts.
Thank you, that's a better word.
Does have LED lighting in them also?
Absolutely.
Where are those lamp posts going? From where to where?
Place all of them.
Okay.
The ones that are
All the
laying in.
nice ones from Mayfield Bank.
That's the green colored ones, right?
Did you get a motion? Is there a motion?
I'll motion.
Second.
Take the roll, please.
Hornung,
Yes.
Arganti.
Yes.
Blue,
Yes.
Weish,
Yes.
Morrow, Klein.
Yes.
Ordinance 21-111, an ordinance amending chapters 135 of the codified ordinances to create the position of lead wastewater water plant operator. Is there a motion to place this on second reading?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Take the roll, please.
Arganti.
Yes.
Blue,
Yes.
Weish,
Yes.
Morrow, Klein,
Yep.
Hornung.
Yes.
Third readings, Resolution 21-02, a resolution authorizing the archivist to act as a designated representative of members of the Village of Middlefield Council for purpose of required public records training. Is there a motion to pass?
So moved.
Take the roll, please.
Blue,
Yes.
Weish,
Yes.
Morrow, Klein,
Yep.
Hornung,
Yes.
Arganti.
Yes.
Ordinance 21-101, an ordinance reviewing the schedule of fees imposed by the village pursuant to section 113509. Declare an emergency. Is there a motion to pass?
So moved.
Second.
Take the roll, please.
Weish,
Yes.
Morrow,
Yes.
Klein,
Yeah.
Ornung,
Yes.
Organti,
Yes.
Blue.
Yes.
Ordinance 21-105, an ordinance approving the editing and inclusion of certain ordinances as parts of the various components, codes of the codified ordinances of the Village of Middlefield. Is there a motion to pass?
So moved.
Second.
Take the roll, please.
Morrow,
Yes.
Klein,
Yep.
Ornung,
Yes.
Organti,
Yes.
Blue,
Yes.
Weish.
Yes.
Ordinance 21-106, an ordinance amending existing section 35114 of the codified ordinances to create restricted commercial on-street parking areas within the village. Is there a motion to pass?
So motion.
Second.
I had one comment, and we were working in the park the other day. I see the snow ban sign there from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. Or whatever. What do you do when it snows is that the same for every street? What happens when it snows at 10 o'clock at night and there's cars over the street? Is that right? I thought it was a 24-hour street parking ban during those months.
On Valley, isn't it?
I think so.
It's too hard to do that with the Glen Valley and Woodsong. There's too many people parking on the street, so we just do it from the 1 to 6. And most of the time, we're okay.
Okay, it seems that I just was surprised when I saw it. I thought it was, you couldn't park on the street from October to
I
April.
thought that's how actually Glen Valley was, that it was October to April, no parking.
Yeah.
I think it is. I thought it was.
I think so.
Maybe it's an HOA rule, is it?
Village street sign that says no parking October till April.
This thing could make it a lot easier plowing, because you're not plowing just in the night, you're plowing all day long. It's like,
I thought we passed that. The village passed that. That one went to our homeowners association.
There was a time when there was like 3 or 4 signs throughout Glen Valley, and the village passed only having one sign, and it's at the
Right.
entrance.
what's it say?
It says no parking October till April, something like that.
But there's no time of day restraint on it.
So I wonder if the other signs are incorrect. I mean, I'd like to see it 24 hours a day.
My understanding is that it's 1
Yeah,
to 6. But I'll check.
all right.
Yeah, and cars do park on Glen Valley all day long. I mean, I just dodged 2 going home between the meetings, so. But Joe's right. I mean, it is hard. You have a lot of single-lane driveways in there, you know, I mean, it's difficult, but it's hard to win either way.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second. Take the roll, please.
Klein,
Yep.
Organti,
Yes.
Ornung,
Yes.
Blue,
Yes.
Weish,
Yes.
Morrow.
Yes.
New business, website report, Kim. Hopefully you'll expound on the new business side of this. Hopefully you'll expound on the new business side of this website that was rolled out this week.
Yeah, the new website, Kim.
Kim, can you see me?
Oh, she can't see.
Where the hell is she? South Carolina? I mean, it's like sunny. Where?
Gotta put your mic down, Leslie.
Up 16% from January. Users were down from last year, 20%, but I took a look at halfway through March, and so far we're climbing again, 20% up. So hopefully that'll hold. Mobile viewers are down, which is typical of lower counts. Top pages are taxes, police, utilities, more police, drones, and government minutes. And the police blotter has dropped off to number 20, which is interesting because that's been happening for the last month. So I'm not sure. I posted it again and watched it, and it just hasn't got the attraction that it used to. Anyway, yes, the new site is, both sites are live and active. I sent out the press releases today, and I got some feedback already about photos and how they like them, and so we'll just keep going and see what happens.
So the business side, to me, is greatly improved. I looked at it today, actually the first time, and it's really is I'm sure there's things we can make better, but it's really a nice site. Yeah.
Much easier for me to manage as well.
Okay, any questions for Kim? We've got Senior Trash Day with Department of Aging. It's in your packet. You have to do it by, you have to reserve ahead.
Yeah,
So how are we publicizing that?
they'll be sending it out. We have a tentative date right now for May 27th, which would be the day before the trash day on May 28th. So as soon as it gets approved, they will start publishing it out and putting in then their senior letters. And then we'll post it, and put the information out. The deadline to register for the program would be the week before. I also talked with Rumpke, and once we have the registration list, we'll give it to them so they can staff appropriately if needed.
And what's it do?
So if you're a senior over 60 and registered with the Department of Aging, you can register and you can have partners with the service crew and the Department of Aging will bring at least 10 bulk items and throw them away for you. For those residents that do get the curbside trash collection, they're just going to put it on the curb because trash day is the next day.
Got a pool table. Does that qualify?
Are you registered with the Department of Aging?
Well, I can get registered.
Yeah, you could probably sell that. But yes, technically that would be considered a bulk item. We would just, the senior who registers also needs to say what they're throwing away, so that way we can appropriately plan. Because obviously you don't want somebody lifting something, only having 2 people if it's like a 3-person job or whatever.
I think it's a good program because there are people that don't have the resources to do it, so it's a nice program.
Does that include like old paint and stuff? Chemicals?
Does not include any hazardous materials. On the, and once I get it finalized, I'll send everybody out the little release. It'll say, for example, like refrigerators need to be Freon-free. Similar to already, it follows our garbage pickup guidelines because we're using our hauler to throw it away.
Okay, Scrap Tire Day, May 15th.
Yeah, so it'll be the same as every last year. We did receive the grant again this year to help pay for the roll-off.
We take anybody's tires?
Yeah, I mean,
Don't need to be a resident?
no, we'll take them, so.
Okay, the last item is Mural Ideas. Scott, you had brought up a couple months ago about the mural on Burton Windsor. We think we've all seen it. It's pretty impressive. Leslie contacted the person that did that, got some ballpark pricing on what that cost, which I relayed to you. It's around $20K for that mural, which is a lot, but it's not a lot. He probably spent 3 months there, I think.
That's a huge 9-sided building mural type thing, yeah.
So we had talked about maybe partnering with business owners that have, John Eagle will be a prime spot as you're coming up Terra Creek, that wall that faces. You had mentioned another one the other day, and I forget where that was, that you thought would be.
The east side of Howders, right there on Lake, on the corner of 87, that's kind of like a, I wouldn't call it the most attractive building in the village. I think it would help there. My wife pointed one out the other day as you're coming up the bike trail, the back of Dollar General, would look really nice, for people coming into the town, maybe welcome to Middlefield, whatever. And then you've mentioned before the back of the, Spittlers or whatever.
Sperry is a heavily traveled road, and that whole building is long. I mean, we've talked about putting
Yeah.
something on that for years,
And it's all block.
and it's all block. I mean, it looks better than it used to. He painted it, and it's, it really was.
But yeah, it could look a lot better.
So anyway, I guess we need to I'd like to take the next step.
Okay, he'll be back back up here in this area in April. He just asked if you could send me pictures of what you're thinking. He'll be able to put some renderings together for that meeting. And then that way, we could go from there.
He wants us to send ideas for renderings.
Yes, so if you send me what you're
Not me.
thinking of, as far as, like, if you want Welcome to Middlefield, well, how do you want that to look? Do you want it to have streetscapes inside the block letters? Do you want it to just be a solid color block letter? Just some ideas or some pictures of things that you see, like, you know how you normally make a collage, just to give them kind of like an idea of what you're thinking.
Yeah, I don't know that I have that much creativity in my brain.
Would you like me to give him some ideas?
I thought he would give us ideas.
Well, he
Yeah.
is, but he needs to, like, do you want a cityscape or do you want more landscape? Cityscape is more costly than a landscape.
Landscape.
I mean, I figured, well, it fits too. We don't really have any high rises or anything, but just to give you an example, you know, if you want block letters versus a landscape, or, you know, just like simple, like things like that.
Yeah.
Do you want an actual physical scene painted that's for, in real life here in town, or do you just want it like, kind of like a,
Yeah,
collage
I
of
certainly
different
don't have
things.
anything specific in mind, you know, other than maybe landscaping is always nice, you
Yeah.
know. But I would thought we would send him like pictures of the sides of the buildings with like the measurements, and then kind of, he could give us a general ballpark idea of what maybe that would cost, based on the size.
yeah, he just needs to know what he's painting.
Okay.
I was thinking whales, undersea with whales and turtles.
That makes sense.
Well, no, I mean, what he's painting actually is what will create the cost.
Right.
So that's why I'm asking.
Well, besides those 4 things we suggested, Giant Eagle, Howders, that building, I can never think of the name of that building, and maybe the back of Dollar General. Does anybody else have any other ideas?
I think the Sperry one is the best one.
I would think that'd be the number one priority because
There's so much traffic that people see there.
Yeah.
And Giant Eagle, the bypass is used a lot. So,
the only people who see that live in Burton.
Yeah.
I never go to that side of the building.
The other employees will see it.
Well, you've got the basketball courts, the baseball, like it just, there's a lot that goes on.
yeah, even old things like that, a baseball game or something going on, kids.
Yeah, stuff like
Stick
that, Bill,
kids,
like
you know?
ideas like that. Like, that's what he wants. Like, do you just want it
I
all
think a high school art
landscape?
teacher had some
Or do you want it,
students,
like,
and we tried that and it didn't work out.
Okay, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I'll give him some ideas from this feedback that I received.
Well, you had an idea for the back of that building once, like winter scenes or spring scenes, or the 4 seasons of Middlefield or something?
Well, it's gonna be the 4 corners. It's gonna take you, you know, like these. You know, one
Okay.
corner look like that, and then the next panel, the next part of the building would be the other corner. It'd just kind of be a downtown view on one.
Oh. Well, we could start there then, take a picture of the naked building now, and then take pictures of the 4 corners and say, these are the 4 scenes we'd want along this thing.
And that would be considered cityscape, just.
That's more
Which is
costly.
more expensive, with a lot of leaves.
No, I just want you to, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Agricultural version.
Right.
I can have him do 2 renderings if you'd like, to see the differences.
Or do you just want to do like, welcome to Middlefield and nice,
So,
somebody's gonna have to maintain this, remember, like, over time, this is gonna, like, the one in Chardon,
Yeah, and like what the
on
railroad
the
thing
old
looks
movie
like.
theater,
Right.
that
they
got
just-
really run down. So when it starts to get run down, it looks really bad.
Yeah.
Then it goes from this cool thing to,
Yeah.
now your town looks old and run down. So if it were me, I don't know, I probably wouldn't make it that complicated, but that's just me. I don't know.
so when Louis owned Third Dimension, he had a process. He was gonna do the front of that building, never did it. And it's more than a decal, but it's like, it was beautiful.
It's almost like
was
a
almost-
wrap they put on a.
It was
like on
it was a
vehicle.
photograph
There's
quality.
Where's this at you're talking about?
The guy that owned Third Dimension had that process. He was going to promote it and sell it. He was going to do his own building. Maybe we should look at an alternative.
There
that-
are
That
some
wouldn't take as
building
much
reps.
maintenance, and maybe more cost effective to do originally, and maybe give you higher quality. But I think putting some of those buildings would be advantageous, but let's look at other options as well.
All right, I can do some building wraps too,
All right, in your spare time.
of course.
Right. Well, use John, use John to help, he makes less an hour.
He's here less hours as well.
I know, exactly, it would just add to the cost.
So,
What would it cost to put one of those, like, middle field symbols?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I would have to get him that.
Yeah, but something, yeah, I don't know, I'm a very simple person. I
Find it
like
out.
that more than
Yeah.
a thing, that's me.
I think you should all get a tattoo of that while we're at it.
don't you put something like what these
Let me
pictures
show
are
you.
on one of the buildings?
I believe
Pretty neat.
Middlefield.
That would be pretty
If
neat.
you get the wrap thing, you could do that.
Yeah.
And they last longer, get
Exactly.
beat up by the sun. I mean, remember that building, he repainted like a decade ago, and then a decade later, that thing looked terrible. It was chipped paint everywhere. I mean, there's nothing, I mean, that's just an example. Even the Giant Eagle, the sun beats that.
And it's
So-
expensive to maintain it.
And it's expensive to maintain. And when it's cool and looks great for the first couple of years, and then when it starts to get run down, now you're doing the opposite of what you were trying to do. Now it looks like it's run down, so I don't know.
Like, we've talked, if you could do that like a wrap or something like that, that would be, where you could just put it back up.
They wrap buses, they wrap cars, when you see it, it obviously holds up to elements and,
Even if you did like what they had down in Cleveland on the side of that one building with LeBron James, that was like some kind of a canvas.
A mesh tarp
Oh,
type
yeah.
thing.
That thing
How
was
about we all get paint guns?
yeah, graffiti,
I don't
graffiti
know what it
it.
would cost to do something
Be
like that.
abstract.
It would be.
Okay, well,
Abstract, I like that.
when he gets back in town, we'll meet with him and we'll look at other options in the meantime, but I think we should do one building this year somehow, some way, so. We do have an executive session tonight for potential litigation. Is there a motion to move to executive session?
Motion.
Appointment? Appointment also.
All right, just give me 1 second to get it off the broadcast.
Get a first and a second for that.
Yeah. Can I get a first and a second on that
For executive session.
for executive session?
Motion.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Okay, thanks.
Do we shut our mics off now?
You can wait 1 minute until 8:11, and that's when this will go off.
Power plant, Cleveland Public Power. Cleveland Public Power.
That was there a long time. It always looked good. Maybe they redid it for years.
I don't know.
I just